What's going on, guys? It's your boy Az. We are back. We're going to be doing some Doom 3.4 gameplay today, and of course, being Doom raids, we got to have web warriors in there. Currently, right now, as you guys can see here, we're kind of under the battle tag, but we'll just flip over and switch to the web warriors so it's easier to kind of see them. But I still have mine all at level 85. Pretty much the same stats when I was running Doom 2.3. This was a team and my go-to team when I was doing there. So far we haven't had to put any more resources. Of course, if you guys want to push these guys to 90, you're definitely more than welcome to, because these guys are needed for the Morgan Le Fay Scourge, as well as they're also quite a very good team on war as well, war defense. I find they're also pretty good with blitzes, and of course they're also pretty decent as well in Crucible. So fairly all-around solid team, and I think if you pump more levels or resources into them, it's definitely not a waste. But we'll have to see how the new web weavers come into the game and see if they shape this team up as well, especially for Doom raids. But right now we're running 85s on everybody, and I'll just quickly go over their stats so you guys can have a look here. Pretty much everything's T forward. Level 85, like I said already. Tier 15 on Miles, same thing, level 85. Everything's T forward, other than bumping these guys up to 16. Haven't done so because we've been kind of saving our resources and waiting to see how this new web weavers team will be. Tier 16 on Scarlet Spider, because we did use him in Dark Dimension 5, and same sort of dealio as well. We're missing yellows on him because he's not really easily farmable yet. He is in the war store, but it's a slow and steady process right now. And last but not least, Spider Punk, same thing, lacking the yellows on him, but tier 15 as well, and everything else is T4. So all these guys, like I said, are level 85, and we're just messing around and starting on Doom 3.4 now. So we'll do some gameplay and see how it is, but right now I haven't had too much practice, so I do apologize if some of the footage isn't as efficient as it should be, since I haven't really had too much practice. So I apologize for that. Otherwise, let's jump into some gameplay. Alright guys, so we are just gonna jump into the battle notes here. We just finished off the skilled section, and of course, being on the left side, battle is just after the skill section. So this is our team here. We'll just swap out Miles. We'll put him in the middle so he can go stealth and kind of disconnect chain attacks. And this is the line I'm running right now, and we'll see how it goes. But I have had a little bit of practice under the other difficulties, so under difficulties 3.3 and 3.2. But yeah, we haven't had too much practice on the 3.4 just yet, so we'll take care of the taunt from Drax. And then of course, what I like to do here is I like to steal the evasion from Spider Punk. So we're going to single target and steal that evasion. And then as well, because Ghost Spider likes to hit us when we hit the other Spider-Verse characters, or excuse me, the Web Warriors, we want to land that offense down on her if we can, so that way it helps a little bit with the damage mitigation. Spider-Man, you want to make sure you can chain all the attacks as well, so we like to chain from the right side here, so that way it hits all 5. And of course, always try to chain attacks as much as you can, trying to avoid that counter attack, so that way you can get as much hits on the board and get those negatives across. This team is still, I find, pretty solid in Doom raids, and especially right now with Doom 3. So I think a lot of people are saying they're not that great, but I feel like it is a bit more RNG because these guys hit a bit harder than the previous Doom raid modes. But I feel like it's still a very solid team overall. Once you drop one more character, I think the next wave drops, so just make sure you're trying to eat as much health from these guys before you can. I believe it's Scarlet Spider and Ultron that drops, so just make sure you can get rid of, I think, Ghost Spider first, because yeah, you don't want her on the board attacking you every time you land your hits on a Web Warrior. So that's kind of my gist there. T'Challa hits quite hard as well, so just keep an eye on that. Again, just trying to hit and get the offense down on everybody. So we're going to hit Scarlet Spider there, get some offense down. I love that basic of his. He just kind of applies the negatives, and it's very good, especially on key targets like there. So we'll take care of Spider Punk there, and then we should be able to take care of T'Challa. And then we've already blocked ability blocked Ultron, so best thing he's going to do is he's going to miss his special, which means next turn he's going to use his alt, and we have a lot of evasion on the board, so we should be able to avoid that alt. Fingers crossed. Sometimes it has hit, and we do have the death proof to kind of avoid the kill, but unfortunately that's not always the case, so we'll see how the RNG plays this time. But yeah, just and of course you can stun him as well, but we're trying to get ourselves ready for the second node, which is a little bit more RNG based, and I find that you definitely have to take a couple hits on it because there's a Phoenix involved, and we usually like to cancel out before Phoenix does her crazy special and stuff like that. So there you guys have it there. We'll take care of Ultron, and we make node number 1 look pretty solid easy. I usually don't mind the first node. It's the second node, like I said, that requires a bit more RNG from our side, and perhaps having a higher Web Warriors team will maybe reduce the RNG-ness of the second node, but only time will tell right now. So we'll see if we can get a decent attack attempt in, and looks like I froze here. Alright, so had to reset there and then had to cancel out because the second node does get a little tricky. So we're going in here now, and this one usually takes about at least minimum 2 shots because of that RNG. If you go into this node and they hit the right characters after Phyla-Vel's barrier attack, and then of course a couple other hits on targeted characters, they can clear out pretty much any of the Web Warriors, especially the ones I've gotten that haven't been leveled past 85. So what I like to do on this one is I like to do that turn reduction on Beast, because playing against Beast here, you're gonna run into issues if he gets all these buffs and cleanse. So that's why I tend to focus on him. And then what I like to do is sometimes you can land the offense down on key characters like Jubilee and Gamora, just because they do a lot of damage, but then you can kind of re-pivot and focus back on Beast. At least that's what I like to do. I don't know if that's the best order, but it's the one that's been working out for me, so I'm going to stick with it. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to throw a stun in here as well, but I find that the slow from the special from Spider-Man really helps with everybody's speed, so I try to do that to kind of get it across the board, get some negatives, especially before Phyla-Vel and Moondragon get their turns, because of course they get the barrier, they get some heals back from Moondragon as well, so it is quite annoying. So I try to get some of these negatives out there before that happens. Stunning Jubilee probably would be a good idea too. Keep in mind as well that, like I said, our Web Warriors are a little squishy here, so of course landing AoE attacks for the heals is also crucial to kind of keep some of their health sustained. Unfortunately, he is blind, so that kind of sucks there. We are going to come in clutch here with Ghost Spider's ultimate here. Try to get more attacks in. Again, this is for the heals, for sustain. And as you guys see there, we do get a ton of health back because of the massive amounts of enemies that ultimate hits. Phyla-Vel's debuff removal is a pain in the butt as well, which kind of sucks, but we kind of just have to suck it up. And then of course we have this pretty awesome stun. It depends who you can land it on. I like to do it on Moondragon because she can always cleanse and heal, and it's counterproductive against our attacks. From here, I mean, it's a good idea to sort of take down some of the Infinity Watch guys for the next wave, so that way you're not dealing with it later on. Especially because there's like 4 of them already on the board. We took out Gamora earlier on, but yeah, just playing against these guys on top of the X-Men already are a big pain in the butt. So it's a good idea to take them out early. Phoenix, when she does drop, keep in mind you want to keep your trigger finger happy and ready to go, so that way you can dodge her, hopefully her special, so that way it doesn't rip and kill too many people off. We're just temporarily pausing here. Sometimes the stun is annoying, so I like to cancel after the stun as well, but if you have lots of energy and you don't mind canceling out, it's always a good idea to do it after Colossus' ultimate or his special as well, because the taunt and the deflect is a big no-no for us. And yeah, we'll see where we cancel out here. Obviously, every battle seems like it's a different one every single time. I never have the same sort of thing going on, but you know, a similar similar attack strategy. So we'll take Phoenix out here, and right there, unfortunately, we were a bit slow on the on that. Usually when she dies, that's when you want to cancel out, but we were a bit slow on the uptake of it, so that was a bad example of it was a good example of what not to do. And unfortunately, we do have to heal up some of the characters because some people died. But keep in mind, because it is we do have refreshes saved up, and usually I try to limit myself to a couple of heals per day, so that way we can kind of get ourselves back up to 500 on the daily challenges. So I usually try to keep myself above 300 just in case we need to mash, but we only have to revive a couple characters, and we do have a lot of cores as well available. But we're gonna jump back in here, and sometimes I get away with only one character dying. Other times, if more than 3 die, you're better off just resetting it. So that's my approach right now, and so far it's actually done pretty okay. I've been able to solo most of these Bao 1 and 2 by myself, and then of course we kind of tag team on the boss there. So we come back in here. Phoenix is dead, which is awesome. Keep in mind, if some of these characters are low health as well, we do have a lot of abilities to generate health back, so that's kind of the nice thing too. They'll always go first because we kind of left a lot of the slower characters, Colossus, Adam Warlock, they are slower, so we'll get a couple hits in there and get our health back as well. So that's why we didn't heal up everybody, or not everybody, but you know, we just revived. And then of course I find Death Pool and Magic to be quite dangerous, so that's kind of why I focus on them. I feel like if you leave Magic alone, she's gonna keep coming back and give barrier on the spawn, so that's really annoying. So taking her out, if you can, even in the first attack, is a good idea if you are able to do it. Fortunately, there's so much going on with the Infinity Watch crew, and then with Phoenix as well, that it is quite annoying, and sometimes I'm not able to do it. But it seems like we're pretty okay right now, because we did have to use a little revive there in the process. I think we should be fine here, and we should actually, because of the revive, we should be able to go into the boss node actually in pretty good top form, with a lot of our abilities and everything in shape. So that's kind of nice there. So never yeah, I mean, you can save up a lot of your abilities, but just keep in mind Colossus is a tank, and he'll usually give you some terms as well, some time and turns to bring some of these abilities back up, especially if he does his ultimate and his special. But in this case, we were actually able to ability block him there, so we stunned him, and then of course we used our ult as well, because we didn't care at this point anymore. I actually I was throwing everything at this last node, because you'll see in a sec here, our boss node, our teammates were able to do a really good dent on them, so that's why we didn't care too much. I actually should have saved maybe some of the cooldowns for the final node, but that's alright. So my 2 teammates have already done a pretty decent dent, and hopefully we can clean up the rest for them. Usually, like I said, we do 2 Bao lanes, and usually try to solo one of them on myself, and then we can go in and finish off the boss as a crew. So just a couple guys left over here. Looks like Xerxes is left, so we gotta be mindful of that. But our web warriors are pretty much ready to go, pretty geared up as well, or sorry, healed up. So we don't need to heal anything, and we can just go in here and hopefully finish it off, depending on what what is left over. So looks like the rest of the 8 are definitely on the board, which is unfortunate. I should have saved my stun and my ultimate. That's fine. We'll do some disruption on Obsidian, so that way he can't do his taunt. And then right here, we're gonna do some offense down in this low cluster, because there's some dangerous characters here on the board. Xerxes is still on the board here. She looks pretty scary. We've got ourselves an ability block as well we can take advantage of. I like the ability block because it's going to chain across a couple guys here and get us some decent amount of negatives across. So that's always nice to have. Once we get going here and start applying some negatives, it'll give us a good advantage. So a couple characters drop there, great. Spider-Man will do his thing as well and start getting some slows across. Right there, we've taken out 4 guys already, which is great. I didn't know where Xerxes was, but luckily she didn't have her ult, so that's actually very beneficial for us. That actually gives us a little bit of room to work around here, so that's great. Now we're going to apply some negatives here and blow things up here with the ultimate. T'Challa, we'll take care of him. Obsidian's left over and he's last. Usually he's last, but in this case he's pretty slow, so you can take him out. But yeah, he's got a lot of health as well, so that's why you know, you can pick and choose here. But yeah, I think once Xerxes by herself, she's pretty useless, especially if she's already used her ult. So we'll see if the stun lands. If it lands, great. Now we can actually just focus on killing. Actually, anybody would be fine here, but I think we got lucky here with the cooldowns. Luckily, we didn't need to rely on the trauma from Spider-Punk, so that was kind of nice there. And yeah, we got everybody in top form now. Apply the slow and defense down from Spider-Man. I love that about his special. Just so awesome. Glad he got that massive buff. And there we go. We'll land the trauma here and we can auto. And we got the rest done for the team. So there you guys have it. And that's pretty much, like I said, level 85 still. Haven't bumped them up too much, but that's our run for nodes 1 through 1 and 2. And then, of course, finishing off the boss there. And not too shabby. So the tech is open now, and we will we'll see how that goes. My Bionic still needs some work. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one.